So welcome to another video of mine about Windows Server 2019 or 16. So in this video, I want to kind of talk about group policy um, in Windows Server and kind of what it is and what you can do with it. So to start off, to describe it, it's kind of just many different policies you can set to control or manage various settings um, and things in your organization or in your domain or whatever it may be, your company. And you can basically set policies for like pretty much anything, like folder redirection, like registry-based policies for any different type of settings, like password settings, uh, screensaver settings, all these different types of settings that will show some of software installation, etc. So just to explain and give an overview here before we demonstrate and show the capabilities and whatnot. You can see here that we have a user named John in the Vancouver OU, um, which is inside the BC users OU. So to go to group policy, or to get to the group policy management screen, you just want to go to the tools in Server Manager and go right here. So we can see here that our domain and forest comes up. So by default, you're going to have two policies here, the default domain policy and the default domain controllers policy. Um, so to start off, we'll set a GPO on the BC users OU. So we'll just name it screensaver because that's what I'm going to use for the example. And then we can right click here and go to edit. So just to kind of, I guess, show you guys all different policies, you got many different settings here. Um, just as an example, let's just go down here to personalization. So these are all policies we can set about personalization. Let me just expand this. So you can see we have many different settings, such as preventing the changing of a theme, changing of color and appearance, sounds, the timeout for the screensaver, and there's so many different policies, stuff about printing, hiding things from programs. If I go here and go to all settings, we got just so many different things that we can micromanage to our liking. And this is just in the administrative templates category. You still got Windows settings, software settings, um, computer configuration, whatnot. So we'll just go ahead and go to personalization, and we will prevent the changing of the color and appearance. So we'll just want to enable that, and then apply it. And we'll also prevent the changing of the desktop background. So I guess a work example here would be like if you don't want employees to change their background or something, or you want to limit some settings. So we can now see that the state for these two is now enabled. So now we just want to go into the command prompt and run a command called gp update /force, and this just forces all the policies to essentially just update, because sometimes I've had issues before where policies aren't updating and they're not really working, so sometimes they just need to be updated. So now we can go and log into our user named John. Okay. So now, what if we go to settings, personalization, and so we can see background. It says here now some settings are hidden or managed by organization. So we can see here that our group policy is working, and if we go to colors, we can also see that we get the same message. We cannot change our colors, we can't change our background, everything's grayed out. If we go to lock screen, or themes, we don't get that message because we never set a group policy for that. So things like that, we can change. So now we're just gonna go back into our admin account just so I can explain a little bit more. Okay, so we'll just go back into the group policy management. And so what might be confusing some people is that we assigned it to BC users. So why is the user in Vancouver, which is John, getting the group policy? So group policy, how it works is it has what's called inheritance. So if you assign something to the parent OU, for example, it's going to trickle down and apply to all the child OUs. And so simply by using, if you right click on Vancouver, for example, and block inheritance, we can block that from trickling down into the other OUs. So just to kind of demonstrate that, we can demonstrate that right now and log back in. Again, we're just going to run gp update/force just to make sure it's all updated. And once this is done, we're going to go and log back into John's account and see if the group policy is working or not. Alright, had to fast forward a little bit there. Sometimes that command can take a while. So we're just going to log into John now. Alright, so let's take a look. So now if we go into settings and personalization, you can see now that the background can be changed. We can change all this. Before, it had that message at the top about how some settings are hidden or managed by our organization, and same with the colors. And so that's kind of what our blocking of the inheritance did. It blocked the GPO from trickling down and applying to the child OU. So now we'll just go back into the group policy and talk a little bit more. So I'll just log back into the administrator account. So another thing I also wanted to explain was that I kind of showed you guys what block inheritance does. There's also this enforced option, and what this kind of does is that if you have like other GPOs, it kind of prevents it from being overridden by other ones. So that's kind of essentially what it does. Obviously, it would matter if you have like a ton of GPOs, and they kind of conflict and things like that. Here we kind of have a link order, so they kind of take precedence in order, and you can tweak that by using these arrows here. So obviously if I had 3 GPOs here, I could move them up and down to my liking and kind of choose which one comes first. And how the group policy order precedence normally works is the OU gets the most precedence, then followed by the domain, then site, and then the local group policy. So to kind of explain, local group policy is kind of just like policies that are just stored on the local computer compared to domain GPOs that are in Active Directory. So we can see here, let's try going there using gpedit.msc. So here is the local group policy editor. So like I said, this is just for kind of GPOs that are locally on the computer, um, compared to like Active Directory. So essentially local GPOs are stored on the local computer and domain GPOs are stored in Active Directory. And lastly, I just want to go back into group policy management and show kind of like, for example, if we go to group policy objects here, we can see all the GPOs that are created, and you can actually do backups of them, and pick your location and all that. Um, and you can also import existing GPOs. Like if we go to the group policy objects, this is what I meant by you can import settings. You can copy GPOs. Yeah, back them up like I said. And the last thing I probably want to go over is deleting GPOs. So one thing to kind of be careful of is for example, like if I want to delete this GPO and I click delete, it's gonna say, do you want to delete this link? This will not delete the GPO itself. So like it says, it just deletes the link, but if you go to group policy objects, it's still going to be here. So I can demonstrate that. You can delete this. And if you're not in group policy objects, it looks like the GPO is gone, but it's really not. So to truly delete it, you gotta go here and click delete. And if you don't delete it, you just wanna keep it, for later, but like obviously not link it to anything. You can always just reapply it later on, that by choosing the link an existing GPO option. The first time we created a GPO and linked it because we didn't have it, but when you click link an existing GPO, we have our screensaver one there. But if I just go here, delete it, it's gonna get permanently deleted, and you can see here that it's gone forever and it's deleted. I guess the last thing I'll do, since I was talking about it, and I might as well demonstrate it, is the backups. So we'll just go into documents here and make a folder called backups. Oops. Okay, and then yeah, you just click backup. It's really simple, super simple, and it tells you, what was successful, what was not, and then okay, done. It's all backed up. And when opening up File Explorer, you can go to the location, and you can see like we got some files here, and everything's all backed up. So that's pretty much it. I obviously, again, with many things in Active Directory and with Windows Server, there's so much you can do. And I showed you how long the list of group policies go. And so yeah, so there's just so much to do, and that was kind of just a little demonstration that really helped me kind of learn and understand how group policy works and what it really does. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope I did a good job of explaining it. So thank you.